Uranium stocks are up really big in the last couple days. I'm going to explain exactly why. We had some really big news, some of the biggest news I think we've seen in decades. I'm going to explain exactly what that is and what it means for the market. I'm also going to cover a new stock that I bought, FORUM Energy. I bought 800,000 shares in this stock. It is up 16% just in the last day. And they actually had some really big news, some news yesterday that broke about their drilling in the Athabasca Basin. So you're going to want to stick around for this whole video. It is probably one of the most bullish signals, the news we're going to cover, that I have seen in the whole uranium market. So hit that like and subscribe button below. I want to show you the actual gains yesterday in first the Australian market. This was yesterday. It's the 3rd of November. Today is the 4th of November. And if you see all the uranium stocks pretty much in Australia that we cover, we're up really big. And right now, if you see right here, this is the pre-market for the US big cap uranium stocks. Now, pretty much all of them are up. Every single one of them we have listed here are up. And if you jump over to the uranium sheet of mine, you can see a lot of these are also OTC uranium stocks. And those were up very big yesterday. This right here, this column is the 1 day gains. All right. So pretty much everything was up yesterday. And this is very, very, very big news that we actually had yesterday. And I'm going to go over that. So China, and we knew this if you've been following the channel, I've been covering this, that really uranium is an Eastern play for myself and most investors out there, because the demand coming from the East is far greater than the West. And China is actually planning 150 new nuclear reactors. And this is going to reportedly cost $440 billion. So a lot of new investors, they have the climate talks. A lot of this is due because of what, China is looking to be carbon neutral by like 2060. Now, if you compare China here to the US, obviously China has a lot new reactor builds on the way, a lot more proposed. And the US, the West is falling behind on that. Hopefully these small modular reactors will change, but this demand coming from China is unlike anything we've ever seen. 150 new reactors is more than the entire world combined built in the last 35 years. So this is very big, and this was on Bloomberg. So Bloomberg, is really, has, everyone pretty much watches Bloomberg around the world. So a lot of people are looking at uranium stocks, and one of those that I bought in the last few days was FORUM Energy. We'll talk exactly why I bought that stock in a second, but before we get there, I want to talk about Sprott. So Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, they actually had very high volume yesterday, almost record volume, I believe, for their Canadian ticker, U.UN. And this, obviously is the vehicle purchasing spot uranium. We have not seen uranium take off in the spot market this week just yet. But I think once Sprott Physical Uranium Trust continues to buy, I think that you're going to see the spot market just continue its run. It's had a little bit of a pullback, but they did raise about 70 million. And with that 70 million, they purchased about 700,000 pounds. So they're just going to continue to soak up that spot uranium. And eventually we're going to start to see gap up in the uranium price in the spot market, but the long-term price is up. So that is very bullish. I do like that, that Sprott is continuing to buying, and every time, they've got a premium, they're going to continue to raise and buy more. So, I continue to see that as also bullish for the uranium market. But really the uranium stock I want to concentrate on right now, and this is what I bought, was FORUM Energy. So, this stock has around a $50 million market cap. Now, it is a uranium explorer, and, the uranium market is very forward-looking. Investors are forward-looking. They're looking for the next big, investment in uranium that could go from explorer to possibly producer or developer and really get a project going, this uranium bull market. Now, with what I just showed you, I really do believe that uranium is probably going to be in a 10+ year bull market. And we're not going to see that 4 or 5 year, bull market we saw last uranium bull market in the early 2000s. I really think that there is not going to be overproduction, as much as we saw before. We don't have the megaton to megawatts program. And stocks, in the uranium sector, a lot of them, their market caps have already hit 100 million to even $1 billion for, a lot of stocks that were trading under $100 million market cap. Now, this is one of the last uranium stocks out there that has a market cap around 50 million or under, and especially one that has very good management, that is active and is exploring in the Athabasca Basin. Now, they had some really breaking news yesterday because a lot of people did not think they were going to be drilling this soon, especially at a very good project in the Athabasca Basin. So management, that's one thing that's key with uranium stock, and one thing with Forum, they do have really good management. Now, they have a really good amount of exploration plans, for 2022 to 2023 planned, and uranium is now at the forefront of that. So if you see here, their Woolston drilling program, they're looking to start. This is actually going to be January, so we're a couple months away from this. So this really took people by surprise. A lot of people just thought that they were looking to, continue exploring in other assets, and they're not a uranium company. Well, here's the funny thing. FORUM Energy used to be called FORUM Uranium. This is a uranium company, and that is why, because we're in a uranium bull market, management, they have now uranium at the forefront. So the next drilling is going to be at the Woolston Project. This is literally in the best location in the entire world for uranium, the highest grades. Nothing can compare to this, to the grades here. And they've got projects all around the basin. Now, if you see on this chart here, everything pretty much to the west is going to be in the future in uranium, because eventually Cigar Lake and all these, where Cigar Lake is, we got, MacArthur River, all of these uranium mines across here will eventually be depleted. Now, so they're looking, because there's already infrastructure here built, really big infrastructure, that's where all the camps are. They're, they still have a lot of projects around here, and Forum does. So this Woolston project is very interesting because the CEO did say, and note that the CEO actually today and the last day yesterday was presenting at the, I'll show you here, the Smith Mining Institute, and there's a lot of big companies, a lot of big names there, and their CEO is actually presenting there. So this is pretty important. Rick has actually been speaking. So you're starting to see other investors' eyes on this. This stock did have, I believe, about 1,000, or I think it was about 2,000 investors. This was back in March. So it's very interesting. The stock itself, they're also, the CEO is going to be presenting November 12th and 13th on John Kaiser's panel, which will be at the Metals Investment Forum. Now, this is really big. John Kaiser has actually been involved in a lot of uranium stocks that were very small, similar to this. And if John Kaiser's involved in this, and if he's speaking, I really do see this being very positive. There's not many uranium stocks out there in the Athabasca Basin that, are going to be drilling. So we'll jump back into this presentation here. So if they're going to be drilling in January at the Woolston Project, we'll do a little background on that, okay? So they say that this project is located about 10 kilometers south of Rabbit Lake Mill. So it's within driving distance on all weather roads to McLean Lake Mill. So the big thing about this is when a lot of, tiny uranium companies are exploring, sometimes they're out in the middle of nowhere, a lot, depending where they're at in the basin. But this specific spot, I think, is a lot smarter to explore here. You're not far from the big infrastructure. You got Cigar Lake not too far from there. Now, these projects in this area can be very high grade. A uranium stock like this discovers a massive high grade, deposit. You might see the next big runner. We saw Paladin get a mine up last uranium bull market, and it did a really big run. Okay, 104,000% in less than 4 years. And when you have a $50 million and under market cap, you have room to grow to $1 billion market cap. Not saying that Forum's going to jump to $1 billion overnight, but if you're a uranium explorer, that's really where you have the value. And the value in growing, okay? Because the market cap's so tiny, and they do have a big upside, exploration. As of right now, we don't even know what these properties really are worth, because in a uranium bull market, properties like this, they're like the Beverly Hills properties you've seen in the last 10, 20 years, go up like crazy. You could pretty much put any price on, a house, depending, where you're at, just because of your neighbor. Okay. So that's the same thing here. These projects are very big, and they've got joint ventures with a lot of big uranium companies. FORUM does. So this is very big to me. This is one thing that I really do like. I like that there's already infrastructure there. Now, if you want to talk about this Woolston project, the one they're going to be drilling in January, they say historic drill holes on the projects show very little drilling done in the areas of interest. So most of these drill holes on the project were from the 1970s and 80s, and they weren't drilled deep enough to test for the basement targets. Now, that's what a lot of these geologists at the uranium companies are looking for now. This is what they really want. So at a 3,000 meter diamond drill program, they actually have planned to start, and they're going to first do that gravity survey that you see a lot of uranium companies do, which will be good. It'll be nice to see. So, this is going to be really big if they find, a good grade deposit there. I honestly think, if this hadn't been drilled in the 70s, since the 70s and 80s, there's very big upside. Okay. Very, very big upside for this stock. They do have Fur Island, which with their joint venture. So they also have the Northwest Athabascan joint venture. So this was what a lot of people that sold thought that was only going to be on their project, in the next year or so. 2023 is what they thought. And the thing is this really caught people off guard, because they actually switched and said, we're going to do the Woolston project. So everyone pretty much that sold thought uranium was on the back burners, but it wasn't. So they do have other assets out there with joint ventures up in the newly explored area, the northwestern part of the Athabasca Basin, really in a sense the future. Now, the other thing about this stock, why I didn't invest early on, was because they're also in other metals. Now, these other metals, last year, they weren't doing as good as they have been doing since, because of the energy crisis and the supply issues. So these things are more bullish to me now, in a sense, than they were last March and April in 2020. So they do have these other projects that they're waiting on drill results, the rest of the drill results. I honestly see massive upside for this company. They have, like I said, these other assets, but uranium is now on the forefront, and it's got very good management. For a micro uranium stock, micro cap like this, you usually don't see very good management out there. You usually see little management at all. So the fact that they do have management, they have money. The CEO is getting around. I believe their VP of exploration as well is going to be on a stock podcast. Overall, this Woolston project is going to be the one that I think is going to run this stock up big time, because remember, the markets are forward looking. So just the fact that they start drilling, you're going to start to see people start to buy in, and I think we're probably going to see a 52-week high very soon. We were buying in at 23 cents US yesterday, and the day before that it dropped like 30%. So the thing is, when these stocks drop, especially in uranium, they're very volatile. When you have a stock drop 30% in a day, the upside's already 43% just to get back to even the day before, the price that it was the day before. So I saw this as a no-brainer. I'm not paid to talk about this stock. I just want to find the next 100 bagger uranium stock. And really the only way you're going to find a 100 bagger or more is it's got to be a low market cap stock with continued growth. And the only way you're going to have a growth like that is a management team that is wanting to explore and drill for uranium, get a project up. And like I said, all these uranium projects that they do have, nobody knows their true value. They could be worth billions of dollars. We don't even know. It could be the next Arrow deposit. So it is speculation, as all stocks are. We don't know what the future holds, but we do know that we are in a uranium bull market. The supply is running low, demand is at an all-time high, and we will probably see, just on speculation, almost every uranium stock break $100 million market cap, which there's not very many left under 50. So this is one of them. This is why I bought this stock. 800,000 shares I have, and I will continue to add. I'm very bullish on the stock, and I look forward to speaking with the CEO. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to ask him my famous 100 bagger questions that I do for stocks. I did that with Peninsula Energy. That stock was around 7 cents when I did it, and I think it's 28 cents yesterday. When we see spot volume go up, when we start to see these utility companies, which it's around 700 million pounds that are that will be uncovered during the next 5 or so years. So we're going to see utilities come back into the market, and it's going to be a very long bull market. I'm very bullish, and I want to be involved in stocks that have a big upside with management that is pro uranium, pro exploration, and that is FORUM Energy Metals, ticker symbol FDCFF. If you guys like this video, hit the like and subscribe button below, and until next time.